Good morning to all. Myself Dr. Kumar, Department of IT, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, SIRT, the SAGE Group. Today we will discuss the XMPP protocol that is inside the subject IT 703B, that is Internet of Things, in the semester 7. So here is the outline that in this lecture we will discuss introduction, XMPP, XMPP architecture, XMPP features. So, first of all, there is the Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, that is the full form of the XMPP. Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, XMPP, is a protocol that was originally designed for chat and message exchange applications. It was basically designed for what? For chatting and messaging. It is based on the XML language and was standardized by IETF more than a decade ago. It is quite popular and is highly efficient when used over the internet. Recently, its usage was extended for the IoT and SDN applications due to the standardized use of XML, which makes it easy extensible. XMPP, that is the Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, support both publish and subscribe and request and response architecture. And it is up to the application developer to choose which architecture to use. It is designed for near real-time applications and thus efficiently support low latency small messages. It does not provide any quality of service guarantees and hence it is not practically for M2M communications. Moreover, the XML message create additional overheads due to loads of headers and tag formats which increase the power consumption. And this is a critical for IoT application because in the IoT application, the power consumption that is the major issue. Hence, XMPP, that is the Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, used in IoT, but there is some interest in enhancing its architecture to support the IoT applications. The Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol is a communication protocol for message-oriented middleware based on XML, formerly known as the JAB. It is brokerless, decentralized client-server model and is used by the text messaging application. Binary data must be base 64 encoded before it can be transmitted in band. It is useful for devices with large and potentially complicated traffic and where extra security is required. For example, it can be used to isolate security to between applications rather than to rely on TCP or the web. The user or device server. User or device can also be abbreviated server, can keep control through the preference settings. So till now, we have discussed that what is the XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, for what it is designed, and who standardized the XMPP, why it is not suitable for the M2M communication, and what are the demerits when we use it in the IoT applications. And we also see the usage and the merits of the XMPP, that is the Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. Now we come to the Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol architecture, that is the XMPP architecture. The Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol architecture that is composed of the three elements. First, that is the XMPP client, second server, and third the gateway. How many elements? Three elements. First is the client, second is the server, and third is the gateway. The Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol server is responsible for connection management and message routing. Server. That is the part of the architecture. Server is responsible for the connection management and message routing. The gateway serves a bridge between different networks and has to manipulate at least two different protocols. This is the responsibility of the gateway. So here, server is responsible for connection management and message routing, and gateway serves a bridge between different networks and has to manipulate at least two different protocols. The underlying connection between any two XMPP element is TCP. Before the content session, the TCP connection for XML streaming must be established. A single TCP connection can carry multiple sessions. This is the beauty, which are identified by their unique address, similar to the addressing scheme in SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The identifier for the XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol entity, name JID, resembles the pattern of the email address followed by the URL. In XMPP, there is no routing discovery capability, which is specified in the SIP framework. This is the disadvantage. No routing discovery capability. Now, this is the architecture of XMPP architecture. In the architecture, we have discussed the three parts of the architecture, that is the client, server, and gateway. Right? This is the architecture server, this is the client, and here, this is the gateway. Gateway for the foreign network, for the other networks. And the XMPP, that is the Extensible Messaging Presence Protocol, that is the XMPP, that will communicate with the server, and the server will communicate with the gateway. This is another scenario of the architecture. Here, the server and the client, and here this is the gateway. So the client, they communicate with the server, and the server will communicate with the gateway, and gateway will be responsible for to deliver the information on the internet. In the XMPP architecture, the three essential primitives called the XML stanza. See here, this is the one very important. That is the XML stanza. What is the XML stanza? The three essential primitives called the XML stanzas are defined in XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. XML stanza is the actual payload message in XML format that can be exchanged over the XML stream. Got it? No? XML stanza. What is the XML stanza? XML stanza is the actual payload message in XML format, fully loaded message XML format that can be exchanged over the XML stream. In addition, there are the 5 common attributes that are to, from, ID, type, and XML :length for this stanza. How many attributes? 5 attributes. Which one? To, from, ID, type, and XML :length. Here, the message, it is carried out in a store and push mechanism through which one entity push information to message is carried out in a store and push manner, through which one entity pushes information to another. For example, transferring message between two endpoints. Next, the presence, it is a broadcast through which multiple entities receive information about a given entity to which they have subscribed. Presence, it is a broadcast through which multiple entities receive information about a given entity to which they have subscribed. For example, entity availability. ID. It is a request response mechanism, similarly to the HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that lets entity make request and receive response with each other. For example, file transfer, roster retrieve. In ID, it is a request response mechanism similarly to HTTP hypertext transfer protocol where that let entity make the request and get the response from each other. All primitives XML stanza must reside in the stream block. That is main important, which stands for a XML stream. It means that XML stanza should be treated as the content of XML stream. All stream level errors are considered unrecoverable and a error stanza with description inside is sent by the detector. XML stanza must reside in the stream block, and all stream errors are considered, or the considered unrecoverable, and error stanza with the description inside is sent by the detector. Now there are some features of the XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. First, message box. Since messages are stored before being forwarded, concentrate here. Since messages are stored before being forwarded, means messages are stored here before being forwarded, and XMPP implementation can keep messages for later delivery if recipient is offline. That's the feature of the XMPP. Message can be redelivered because the message is stored. Service discovery. With IQ stanza for query, service discovery is possible. With IQ stanza for query, service discovery is possible. Resource binding. Resource location is attached in the address to the distinguished different resources of a single user. There is no need for an additional protocol to handle this issue. This is a major issue. Resource binding. And that can be solved by the XMPP protocol. Internationalization. XML:lang common attribute enables the internationalization. Reliable communication. A TCP connection to carry out session offers a guarantee of the delivery which cannot be accomplished with a UDP transmission. Data between two devices is exchanged in small sets and structured pieces and independent of the operating system in use. The underlying technology is rich in features and helps developer in implementing XMPP as their preferred choice, as they can easily focus on unique pieces of application being developed. Easily understandable and allow SIP compatible multimedia signaling for voice, video, data transfer, privacy control, and other applications. With XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol is easily understandable and allows the SIP compatible multimedia signaling for voice, video, data transfer, privacy control, and other applications. XMPP uses publish subscribe messaging pattern for data syndication and rich presence. Main important recognized by the IETF for various specifications. A client server protocol that works over TCP and allow either side to send data asynchronously with persistent connections. The client server protocol that works over the TCP and allow either side to send data asynchronously with the persistent connection. Suitable for individually tailored message, real-time or the bidirectional communication. That is inside the feature of the extensible messaging presence protocol suitable for individually tailored messages, real time or the bidirectional communication. Apart from the publish subscribe pattern, that is the next one. Apart from the public subscribe pattern, XMPP supports the request response push communication model. This is the main important, because earlier we have said that the publish subscribe model, but the XMPP extensible messaging and presence protocol supports the request response and the push communication model. Next one, easily extensible structured XML based messages. Contains inbuilt security mechanism that include authentication, authorization, and the session encryption. We have discussed the features of the extensible messaging and presence protocol, that is the XMPP. And these are the some references. Myself, Dr. Kumar, Department of IT, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, SIRT, the Sage Group, Bhopal. Welcomes you and thank you for watching the video. Thank you.